We are shifting out of hunting season and into habitat management season. And to be honest, habitat management season never really ends for me. I am always either planning my next project, or I'm tweaking, repairing equipment, or I'm cutting and spraying, and you name it, I'm finding a time to do it. Now, there's a lot of different tools and techniques you can use for improving your habitat for deer and turkey hunting. And you really don't need much, but there are some tools that are just absolutely vital for making the most improvement. Some of the work that we have to do can be very hard. Cutting undesirable trees or overcrowded trees, spraying invasives, working in the heat and the cold, it can be pretty grueling, but with the right tools, we can make this work a lot more enjoyable and efficient. These tools aren't big, expensive pieces of equipment that are only accessible to those with large working farms or giant piles of discretionary income. And none of these have to do with your food plots. Well, actually, some of them can be used to help your food plots, but that's not what is going to make the biggest impact to the quality and number of deer and turkey on your property. So don't worry, a no-till drill and a roller crimper are not on this list. So in this video, we're going over the 3 tools that you need to have the biggest impact on the quality of deer and turkey hunting on your property. And there will be links down in the description below in case you need to pick up any of this stuff. But before we go over these tools, do me a favor, and if this is your first time on my channel, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. And the first tool that you need to really improve the quality of your hunting on your property is a chainsaw. Now this one seems a little obvious, but you can accomplish so much with a quality chainsaw. And if you've got different size chainsaws, you can really use them in different applications, whether that's cutting down giant trees, or a smaller one if you just want to do some hinge cuts, or if you're trying to just girdle and spray, a smaller chainsaw is going to be a lot easier to manage in those applications. And so the benefit of having multiple chainsaws is that obviously if you want to cut down bigger trees, get a bigger chainsaw like this MS-271 Farm Boss. But if you're just trying to do some hinge cutting or some girdle and spray, a smaller one like this MS-170 that's a lot lighter, a lot easier to manage. You don't get tired as easily. That way you can get a lot more work done. But if you're just starting out and you're trying to figure out where to start, what is the first piece of equipment that you should buy, my recommendation is get the bigger chainsaw, that 271 Farm Boss, or whatever other brand of chainsaw that you like to use. Just get the bigger one, the one that's got at least an 18-inch bar, one that's got a little more power so you can get through those bigger trees. That ceiling of what you can accomplish efficiently is a lot higher with that bigger chainsaw than if you were to start with a smaller one. You can always buy another smaller chainsaw down the road, but start with that bigger one so you can get more work done. And along with operating a chainsaw, you need to make sure you know how to operate it safely, how to properly cut down a tree. Now I'm going to go over in a future video where we'll actually go out in the woods and I'll show you how I cut down a tree. But just know there's a lot of good information out there. You can find some good stuff on YouTube, but there is also a lot of bad information, so be careful. And along with being careful, you need to make sure you have the right PPE. You've got a good helmet with hearing protection, and you've got chaps. Steel-toe boots are also a must. Now I know a lot of times people will just skip putting on the helmet, and it just seems like such a simple thing, but you'll be surprised at how much it will actually protect you. Now don't tell my wife, but there's been a lot of close calls where I'm glad I had this thing on. Now along with maintaining a chainsaw, you need to know how to properly sharpen it, and I think that everybody needs to start out and be at least adequate at using a hand file to sharpen your chains. Now you can always have that electric chainsaw sharpener at home so you can get that consistent angle, that consistent grind, and you can get it done real quick, which reminds me I'm in the market for a good sharpener, so let me know if you've got a good recommendation down in the comments. Bluetooth hearing protection is one thing that to me it's a creature comfort, I know, but it's something that I have to have. I mean, you can listen to your podcasts or your music, or what I like to do is listen to audiobooks while I'm out there cutting down hundreds of trees. And I'm currently 12 books deep into the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. There's an Amazon series, but just ignore it. It is absolutely freaking terrible. I don't know how you can mess something up so bad, but anyway. And even though their parent company produced such an abomination and slap in the face to the fans of the Wheel of Time, I'd like to thank Audible for sponsoring this video. They've been gracious enough to give me a link to where my viewers can get a free trial to Audible, which includes a free audiobook. So thanks to Audible for sponsoring this channel, and pick you up a free book if you want to try audiobooks while you're out there getting all your work done. Some other tools you want to look into getting that'll help complement your chainsaw work, make that stuff a lot easier, is a felling lever, a cant hook, and some some wedges. And these will help either get some chainsaws unstuck, it happens quite a bit, coax some stubborn trees over, and maybe you get a tree that's hung up in another nearby tree. You can always use that cant hook to kind of roll it off there, get it unstuck. It's a safer way to get that down on the ground because you don't want to leave it up there. And the second tool that you need to quickly and drastically improve the hunting on your property is a drip torch. When you combine the work you did with your chainsaw with the benefits of prescribed fire and a drip torch, you've got the best food and cover in the neighborhood, unless your neighbors are doing it too, and in that case, rising tides lift all ships. Prescribed fire is the most time and cost-effective way to reset the growth and improve your property and provide tons of great forage for deer throughout the entire year. And if you're wanting to grow bigger deer and have more turkeys, then having plenty of food the entire year is the way to do it. You can use it to top kill undesirable tree saplings. You can use it to thin out some invasives and help keep that under control. And you can use it to remove a lot of the leaf litter to get more sunlight down to the forest floor and increase the amount of forb and grass growth. And that increase in forb and native grass growth means better food and better quality cover. You can use fire to do some bow stand burns that will attract deer near your stands during the early season. It also is going to help create nesting and brood rearing habitat for turkeys, so you can increase that population. Those forbs are going to attract a lot more bugs, and to get those tiny birds up to the magical weight where they can fly and get away from predators as quickly as possible is extremely vital. That last part felt a little bit like word salad. I hope that made sense. Really, there are just so many ways that prescribed fire helps your habitat and your hunting that it would take a couple of videos just to go through them all. But the bottom line you need to know is that prescribed fire helps you work smarter. Time is always a limiting factor. So if you want to get the most productive work done, because just getting work done isn't the same as getting productive work done, you need to start using prescribed fire. Just make sure you have all the proper training. And the third tool that you need to have for the biggest impact on your property is a sprayer. Herbicide use is just an unfortunate necessity if you want to manage your habitat. I'd prefer not to use it, but if you want to kill invasives, if you want to remove undesirable tree species, if you want to promote quality native habitat, and if you want to have good food plots, you just got to use it. I think everybody needs at least a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, because with this you can spot spray invasives or weeds in your food plots, or you can get a boom attachment for it and use it to completely kill your food plot, or just spray some clethodim or something like that, a grass-specific herbicide, in your clover food plots. You can use it while doing your prescribed fire to spray in a wet line, or to even put out a fire in a backing line. I think it's definitely more helpful to have an ATV sprayer with not only a wand, but with a boom or a boomless type setup, so you can get a lot more done. You'll also want a small hand sprayer for doing your TSI or your stump treatments. Something like this where you don't have to squeeze the trigger every time you want to spray, and you get a little more control about how much comes out. I really like this kind too, because you get a little, like I said, you get a little more control about how much comes out, so you avoid some of that overspray and even some backsplash that you get as some of the high volume, high pressure kinds of trigger sprays. Plus, it keeps your hand away from the nozzle so you don't get a lot of dripping over your hands. Because let's face it, I mean, even though you should be wearing gloves with this kind of stuff, you're probably not. So is the 3 basic tools that you need to get started improving your habitat and your hunting. Now, there's a lot of tools out there, a lot of things that can make these jobs a lot easier, but these should serve as the foundation. You can get a lot of work done with these tools, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. So if you've got some other tools that you think should be included in this foundation, do us a favor and put those down in the comments below. There's a lot of tools out there that people, maybe they haven't even heard of them. And if you like this video, chances are you're probably going to like one of these videos over here, so give those a watch. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.